The storyline surrounding Kai Taylor, portrayed by Jens Austin Astrup, has quietly transformed from a simple college romance arc into one of the most emotionally charged and morally complicated journeys among the younger generation in General Hospital. What started as a charming introduction, a talented quarterback with confidence and charm, has now evolved into a story about betrayal, consequences, and a young man trying to figure out who he really is after everything falls apart. Kai's recent storyline is deeply tied to his relationship with Trina Robinson, and that relationship has now become the emotional center of his entire arc. At one point, their connection felt fresh and promising, almost like a new beginning for both of them. But that promise didn't last. Instead, it collapsed under the weight of a decision Kai made, one that he believed was right, but that ultimately destroyed the trust between them. In recent developments, Kai finds himself dealing with the fallout of that betrayal. After exposing a plan involving Drew Kane, Kai believed he was doing the honorable thing, choosing truth over loyalty. But in Port Charles, truth doesn't always lead to redemption. For Trina, what Kai did wasn't honesty, it was betrayal. And that difference in perspective is what shattered their relationship beyond repair. The aftermath of that decision is where Kai's storyline becomes truly powerful. He is no longer the confident athlete or the charming new guy on campus. Instead, he is isolated, heartbroken, and struggling to understand how everything went so wrong. His attempts to fix things with Trina fail, not because he doesn't care, but because the damage runs too deep. Every interaction between them carries emotional weight, pain, disappointment, and the harsh reality that some mistakes can't be undone. At the same time, Kai is being pulled in another direction, toward Drew Kane, who has positioned himself as a mentor figure. But this dynamic is far from simple. There's a growing sense that Drew's interest in Kai isn't entirely selfless. While he offers guidance, opportunities, and even a potential future outside Port Charles, there's an underlying tension suggesting that Kai may be being influenced, or even used, for a larger agenda. This creates a dangerous crossroads for Kai. On one side, he has the life he lost, his relationship with Trina, his place in Port Charles, and the version of himself he used to be. On the other, he has a new path being laid out for him, one that could take him away from everything familiar. Recent story direction strongly hints that Kai may choose to leave, not because he wants to, but because staying means constantly facing the consequences of what he's done. Emotionally, Kai is in a state of transition. There's guilt, but also confusion. He doesn't fully see himself as the villain, yet he's being treated like one by the person whose opinion matters most to him. That internal conflict between believing he did the right thing and facing the reality that it caused harm is what defines his current arc. It's not just about losing Trina. It's about losing his identity and trying to rebuild it from scratch. There are also hints that Kai's story may not end quietly. With tensions rising around Drew and other major players in Port Charles, Kai's past actions could still have ripple effects. He knows things. He's been involved in situations that connect to bigger storylines, and that means his role in the narrative may not be over, even if he steps away physically. Ultimately, Kai Taylor's current storyline is about consequences and transformation. He came into Port Charles as someone with potential, charm, and opportunity. But recent episodes have stripped all of that down, leaving him with hard choices, emotional scars, and an uncertain future. Whether he finds redemption, leaves everything behind, or gets pulled back into the chaos remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: Kai is no longer just a side character in someone else's story. He's now living the consequences of his own. And that story is far from over.